Hi, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is called Your True Self. And today I'm doing a video about the Wellcome Book Prize, which is having its 10th year anniversary this year. So if you're not aware what the Wellcome Book Prize is, it's a prize which is annual and open to both fiction and non-fiction, and it's works of literature that illuminate the ways that health, medicine and illness touch our lives. That's a description from their website. So the long list has been announced and I'm really excited by it. Obviously this is an area of particular interest to me because I'm a GP, and the shortlist is on the 19th of March and the winner is announced on the 1st of May. So I'm going to read as many as I can from the long list, and I'd like to read the entire shortlist. Some of the books were new to me and some of them I'd already heard of, one I'd already read, and I thought I'd just go through the books, just give a little synopsis about them and see if any of them pique your interest. So the first one, so I'm going to be referring to my notes, that's why I keep looking down. The first one is called Amateur, a true story about what makes a man, by Thomas Page McBee. This is a non-fiction book about a trans man who is training for a charity boxing match in London. And it says it examines gender stereotypes, masculinity and violence. I think it's good to examine the link between masculinity and violence, and also what does masculinity mean and why there are associations between the two and all that kind of stuff. So that sounds like it's going to be a good read. The second one is called Astroturf by Matthew Sperling. This is a fiction book about a man called Ned who is 30. He's I think he's lost his job, he's single, he's living in a bedsit, so life's not going particularly well for him. And he discovers steroids, and it says that it gives him body confidence. He starts doing better at work, he starts making more friends, and it really changes his life around. And then basically something happens to make it go wrong and his life is threatened. Well, not his life is threatened, his way of life is threatened. And it reminded me, reading that synopsis, it reminded me a bit of the film Limitless with Bradley Cooper, where they discover this like wonder drug which opens up all the parts of the brain that we don't use, and he becomes super intelligent and he doesn't have to sleep anymore and all this kind of stuff. It just reminded me a bit of that. So it'll be interesting to see their take on the steroid use and how it can change your life. Third one is Educated by Tara Westover, which is the one that I've read. I'm sure most people know about this book already because it's been massive. It's a memoir from Tara Westover. He grew up in Utah, in the States, in a very fundamentalist Christian family who were preparing for the end of days, and she wasn't put through school, and she basically educated herself, and it was about her journey through to Cambridge University where she got a PhD, and about how she feels tied but separate from her family and the ways of their lives back in the States. That was an awesome book. And the fourth one, this sounds really cool. This is called Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. Sorry if I said that wrong. This is about a girl called Ada who, it says, she's peopled with spirits trapped in her body and torn between physical and spiritual worlds. She says that her parents prayed her into existence and then they struggled to deal with the volatile and contradictory spirits peopling their troubled girl. I thought this sounded really original, really fascinating, just something like I haven't ever come across before. I don't know if there's any folktale elements in it at all, but it sounds quite magical and just something that's really different from anything that I've come across before. Number 5 is Heart, a History by Sandeep Jauhar. He is a cardiologist, and he tells his experiences as a doctor who specialises in the heart, through his patients and his career, and also stories of the past, like the first heart surgery, the first pacemaker, scenes from theatre, and his own family history. And it says future progress will be determined by how we choose to It says future progress will be determined more by how we choose to live than by any device we invent. Number 6 is called Mind on Fire, a memoir of madness and recovery by Arnold Thomas Fanning. This is another non-fiction book. This is about Arnold, who became depressed when he was in adolescence after his mum died, and then he became manic and depressed in his 20s, and he became homeless, and it's his kind of dark journey through that time of mental illness, but he's also coming out the other side, so he hasn't been mentally unwell for 10 years. And so it says through his memories, his notes, and through other people's recollection of his recollection of his illness, it sort of documents the journey from being in that very dark place to recovery. So it says it's quite positive in the fact that it gives you hope. It does, however, sound like it could be quite a tricky read and that you'd have to be in the right headspace to read it. Next we have Murmur by Will Eaves. This is about Alan Turing. The film, what's the film called? The film with Benedict Cumberbatch, which I can't think what it's called at the moment, but it'll come to me. If not, I'll just write it along the bottom. So Alan Turing was gay, and he was charged with gross indecency in 1952 and was punished by having to have chemical castration, which made his body change into more of a female body. And he committed suicide in 1954. And this is his story, and it says it examines what bodily changes do to a person's mind and how mathematics fits, how a mathematician fits pain, joy and love into explanatory schemes. So, I mean, it's devastating what happened to him. It's shocking and appalling and disgusting, and the fact that he killed himself because it was so awful. And just this, I'm sure it's going to be heartbreaking but extremely important to talk about. The next book is number 8, My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshtegh. I have heard about this one already. I've heard people talk about it on BookTube. This is a fiction book, so it's about a rich, attractive, privileged narrator who lives in Manhattan. Her parents have died, but she has, from what I understand, a property that's been paid for, and she's wealthy. And she spends a year under the influence of drugs designed to heal us from our alienation from the world. So I think she kind of puts herself into some kind of, I'm not sure if it's like a drug-induced coma or state or what, but it says it's darkly funny and talks about our alienation from people. Sounds interesting anyway. So the 9th one, when I read the title, I didn't think it sounded that interesting, but when I read the description, I think it sounds really intriguing. This is called Polio, the Odyssey of Eradication by Thomas Abraham. So basically it says that we've actually been quite challenged in eradicating polio, and apparently this is partly due to global politics having a weak vaccine, parents refusing to use the vaccine, and there has also been door-to-door health workers assassinated. So he searches for answers. So this sounds like it's looking at how politics and perceptions and underhand dealings have scuppered our progress in curing polio and eradicating it globally. And I'm really interested in anything like that, anything with a kind of political spin, a bit of conspiracy theory. That really intrigues me. So I definitely want to read that one. The next one is one that's very well known on BookTube. That is Sight by Jessie Greengrass, which is her debut novel examining the progress to motherhood, the death of her own mother, and her childhood. It says a novel about being a parent and a child. I've heard really great things about this. I didn't read it when it was shortlisted for the Women's Prize. It was on my radar, but I didn't actually read it. But I am looking forward to reading it this time around. So we have 2 more. Number 11 is another one that's really popular on BookTube at the moment, and that is The Trauma Cleaner by Sarah Krasnostein. I've had Lauren from Lauren in the Books and Simon of Savage Reads really praise this book. It's about Sandra Pankhurst, who is a trans woman who started life as an abused adopted son and now helps those at life's dark extremes. So she's a trauma cleaner, which means she clears up from crime scenes, accidents, people who are hoarders and things like that. And she obviously then she helps people who are going through those times. So that one I've already ordered from the library. I'm really looking forward to that one coming in. And the final one is called This Really Isn't About You by Hanna Edelstein. So this one sounds interesting as well. So her father dies of cancer. She then finds out that she has the same gene which caused her father's cancer. And so it says it's a memoir about finding your way in life and discovering you are not really in control at all, and it confronts some of life's big questions. So one of the things it said in the description was, you know, how can she just go on dates and do normal things when she's found out that she's got this gene? Like, can she just put it out of her mind? And I think with that all of the things we can find out and do today in medicine, we always see them as progress, but there is a negative side to all of the things. So once you know something like that, once you've had a test and you know something like that, how does it affect you? Obviously there's positive ways it can affect you, like early screening, early detection, or that kind of stuff. And there's negative ways, because it must almost be like having like this cloud or this thing hanging over you all the time, knowing that you've got this gene which makes this extremely likely that it's going to happen to you. And should we know that? And I don't know. I just, it'd be really interesting to hear it from her perspective as somebody who has obviously chosen to be tested for this gene and who has found out that she's got it, and what is that actually like as somebody who's going through it, and what does she feel the pros and cons are of sort of the capabilities we have in this area. So I think this is a fabulous list. I'm really excited by it. I've ordered, as I said, the trauma cleaner, and I've ordered, I think it was Amateur that I ordered from the library already. And I'm just going to work my way through them as much as I can. And yeah, so I'm really interested to know your thoughts. I would presume that most of these books are new to other people as well, like they were to me. If you think any of them sound interesting or you'd like to read any of them, then let me know. I'm going to link all of the books, or list all the books down below, just so that if there's any that appeal to you, you can go and find the details. And yeah, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. So bye for now.